There's a mental model that I call L.B.T that has allowed me and my team to outcompete everyone in the beauty sector and have tremendous amounts of growth in months. And L.B.T stands for leverage-based thinking. And today I'm going to give you 4 examples of how today, after watching this video, you can apply leverage-based thinking as a mental model in your business, in your beauty salon, in order to outcompete everyone and have incredible growth. My name is Daniel Rutia, co-founder at Collabo.com. And basically, what I've done is implement leverage-based thinking in my business to have the best client acquisition system for beauty salons that exists. It's basically incredible. And it is very efficient because we have a lot of leverage. So how can you implement leverage-based thinking? First of all, you have to understand the principle of leverage. Leverage is a physical term which basically quantifies if I have a lever of length L, what mass can I move applying a force F? Okay, so it's basically saying, depending on how long my lever is, with the same amount of force, the same input, I can move a larger or a smaller mass. So what we're trying to find is leverage. We're trying to increase the length of this bar, right? That's the key there. So an example of leverage would be saying, okay, what is something that I can build once or do once, that once it's done, it can give me incredible upside. So maybe I put an hour into creating a video, for example, this video, I put 10 minutes in creating this video, but maybe it will be viewed by hundreds of people, right? So this is me putting in 10 minutes and getting 1,000 minutes of watch time, right? Because different people watched it. So it would take me maybe 1,000 minutes to talk to every person independently, but by me building this video, which is a leverage vehicle and posting it online, I have leverage, so I can move a bigger mass, I can move and present myself in front of more eyeballs with the same amount of force. Okay, so it's not the same me saying what I'm saying now in front of a camera as me going down to the street and saying that in front of people there, right? Because this can be viewed more times. This has more leverage. Okay, so how can you implement this mental model in your beauty salon? What are the things that you can do now? The first one is code. So it's going to be technology. So code, once you have a code, once you have a systematic informatical system, a code that does something in place, you can do that as many times as you want, right? So imagine this. Imagine you have clients booking online and then you manually have to call them or write them a message to remind them of their appointment the day before and the day of, right? You should be doing that anyway. If you have a code that automatically sends them the reminders, right? The day before and the day of, 24 hours before, and the morning of. That is leverage. Because if you have to send 500 reminders, the code will do that the same. Okay, that is leverage. It won't take you to do it 500 times. You build the code once, and then you can get it. You have infinite upside, okay? Another example of code will be AI. So if you have an AI implemented, AI is basically a system which is able to have its own intelligence due to the learning that it has from its data, right? From its machine learning. And it can decide what to do. So once you have that in place and you have trained your AI well, or you're using, for example, OpenAI, ChatGPT, whatever, and you implement it in something in your business, for example, a simple one would be responding to your messages. That means you can get as many messages in as you want, and you're going to have the same quality of response always because it's done by an AI, right? So you can move a lot of mass with the same force, right? You're just building the software. So the first one is going to be software. Software. The second one is also going to start with an S, and we're going to call it systems. So a system basically is a protocol that you make that is going to be followed by other people in your business. So you can create, for example, a system for the sales of the packs after the treatment, and everyone has to follow that system. And instead of you having to correct every single person their methodology of sales, you create a system that is proven to work because it's worked for you and it's worked for others, and you make them follow that script, you make them follow that system, and then you systemize sales, so you know sales are going to work because they're using the same thing that has worked for you. So you make the system once, and then you can just copy, paste, and paste, and paste. That is an example of leverage you should implement right now if you don't have already. The second one is thinking about leverage in terms of time. time ties into leverage because leverage is untying yourself from time. If I have to manually make all the sales of my business, I don't have a lot of leverage. If I'm making systems that I can focus on making the systems as good as possible, and then I can send those systems out to my employees, that is leverage. Okay, so untying yourself from the time. For example, a time leverage decision would be to get a machine which doesn't need human input, right? So you can have treatments that don't need human inputs, and then you can be just doing something else. You could be doing something else. So you're getting a lot back from your time. You're making your time more valuable. You're getting more leverage. And the last one is getting reviews. I've recently seen it in my own business, Clabber.com. The getting reviews is incredible. When you have testimonials, you don't need sales tricks. You don't need sales tactics. That is leverage. Because you outcompete everyone. You're in a different league. What do you mean I need to say this simple sales word and I'm going to get them to buy? No. I'll just say, look, this is what my service does. And you can go to my website and you have the equivalent length of an episode of Game of Thrones of people that have tried it saying that this is what it does, right? So what better sales tactic, what better marketing influence is there than the people that have done what he is trying to buy, talking about their experience and how they were in that same position and they had their same doubts and all their doubts got resolved and they made a lot of money, right? So getting testimonials, getting reviews is incredible for your business. What do you mean? I don't think, or I'm not sure about the results. Well, go to my website or look at all my reviews on my wall and read what they say. Like, it's not even me, right? If I say it, it's bragging. If they say it, it's an endorsement. Okay? So that's the thing. You have people that were in the same position and you make them say, I was in the same position. I had the doubts about if there were going to be results. And look what happened. Right? Proof. Very simple. So L.B.T, leverage-based thinking. This is a mental model that you should implement in your business. You should teach this to your employees to always find higher leverage solutions. Another example. Do you want to hire an employee to call your leads? Or do you want to hire an employee to code an AI that's going to call your leads? Okay, so do you see the differences in leverage? One is going to be able to take maybe, 15 calls an hour, and the other can take infinite calls an hour or 1,000 calls an hour. Okay, do you see the difference in leverage? If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, share with another friend that has another beauty salon and might benefit from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.